The rain was coming down in sheets as I stared out the window of my small apartment in Seattle. At 46, Cormac, was supposed to be enjoying the fruits of my labor. A successful mechanic, I owned a thriving garage, had a beautiful home in the suburbs, and a wife, Genevieve, who I adored. Or at least I thought I did. Genevieve and I had been together for 20 years, married for 15. We met at a local bookstore, a chance encounter that felt like fate. She was a vibrant, intelligent woman, a lawyer with a sharp mind and an even sharper wit. I was drawn to her confidence, her ambition, and her infectious laugh. We built a life together, a comfortable, predictable life. Or so I thought. The first sign that something was amiss came a few months ago. Genevieve started working late, claiming she was swamped with a new case. I didn't think much of it at first. Her job was demanding, and I trusted her implicitly. But then the late nights became more frequent and her demeanor changed. She was distant, irritable, and less affectionate. When I tried to talk to her about it, she brushed me off, saying I was being paranoid. One evening, I decided to surprise her at her office. I brought her favorite coffee and a bouquet of flowers, hoping to lighten her mood. But when I arrived, her office was dark. I called her and she answered on the third ring, her voice breathless. "Cormac." "What's wrong?" "Nothing. I just wanted to see you." "I'm outside your office, but it's closed." There was a long pause. "Oh, I had to run out for a meeting. I'll be back late." "A meeting? At this hour?" "Yes, Cormac, a meeting. Is that so hard to believe?" Her tone was sharp, defensive. I felt a knot forming in my stomach. "No, of course not. I'll see you at home." I drove home, my mind racing. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, terribly wrong. I tried to rationalize it, to convince myself that I was overreacting, but the seed of doubt had been planted. The next morning, Genevieve left for work as usual. After she left, I found myself unable to focus. I kept replaying the conversation from the night before, her evasive answers, her defensive tone. I knew I had to find out what was going on. I decided to do something I never thought I was capable of. I snooped. I knew it was wrong, a violation of her privacy, but I couldn't ignore the gnawing feeling in my gut. I started with her phone. I waited until she was in the shower, then quickly grabbed it from her nightstand. It was password protected, of course. I tried our anniversary date, her birthday, our dog's name, but nothing worked. I was about to give up when I noticed a smudge on the screen, a pattern of fingerprints. It was a long shot, but I decided to try tracing the pattern. To my shock, it worked. The phone unlocked. My heart pounded in my chest as I scrolled through her messages. There were dozens of texts and emails, all from an unknown number. I clicked on the first message and my world shattered. "I can't stop thinking about last night. You were incredible." My breath caught in my throat. I scrolled through more messages, each one a dagger to my heart. They were filled with explicit details, secret rendezvous, and declarations of love. The messages were all to a man named Theron. I felt a wave of nausea wash over me. My hands trembled as I read on, each word confirming my worst fears. Genevieve was having an affair. The world seemed to spin around me. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. My wife, the woman I loved, the woman I had built a life with, was betraying me. The pain was unlike anything I had ever experienced, a deep, visceral ache that tore through my soul. I spent the rest of the day in a daze, replaying the messages in my head, trying to make sense of it all. How could she do this to me? Why would she do this to me? I had always been a good husband, supportive, loving, and faithful. What had I done to deserve this? That evening, Genevieve came home, acting as if nothing was wrong. She smiled, kissed me on the cheek, and asked about my day. I stared at her, my heart filled with a mixture of anger and disbelief. "How was your meeting?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "It was fine," she replied, oblivious to the storm raging inside me. "Long and boring, but productive." I couldn't take it anymore. "I know about Theron," I blurted out, her face paled. "What?" "I read your messages. I know about the affair." She didn't deny it. She just stood there, her eyes wide with fear. "Cormac, I can explain," she stammered. "Explain. Explain how you could betray me like this. Explain how you could lie to my face." "It just happened," she said, her voice trembling. "I didn't mean for it to go this far. It just happened," I repeated, my voice rising. "You didn't mean for it to go this far. You've been sleeping with another man for months, and you expect me to believe it just happened." "I'm sorry," she sobbed. "I'm so sorry. I still love you." "Love me," I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. If you loved me, you wouldn't have done this. I couldn't bear to look at her anymore. I turned and walked out of the house, leaving her standing there, alone in her lies. I spent the next few weeks in a haze of anger and grief. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't think. I moved into my small apartment above the garage, unable to face the memories in our house. I told a few close friends about the affair, and they were supportive, offering words of comfort and encouragement, but nothing could ease the pain. I knew I had to do something, had to take control of my life. I couldn't let Genevieve's betrayal destroy me. I decided to file for divorce. It was a difficult decision, but it was the only way I could move on. The divorce proceedings were long and messy. Genevieve fought me every step of the way, trying to minimize her role in the breakup and maximize her share of our assets. I refused to back down. I had been wronged and I deserved justice. During the divorce, I learned more about Theron. He was a real estate developer, a smooth-talking charmer with a reputation for being a womanizer. He was married himself with 2 young children. I couldn't understand what Genevieve saw in him. As the divorce dragged on, I started to feel a sense of closure. I realized that Genevieve's affair was not a reflection of me, but a reflection of her own character. She was selfish, dishonest, and incapable of true love. I was better off without her. One day I received a phone call from an unknown number. I hesitated before answering, but curiosity got the better of me. "Hello, Cormac, it's Theron's wife, Willow." My heart skipped a beat. "Willow, what do you want?" "I know about the affair," she said, her voice trembling. "Theron told me everything." I was silent, unsure of what to say. "I'm so sorry," she continued. "I had no idea. If I had known, I would have stopped it." "It's not your fault," I said, feeling a pang of sympathy for her. "You were just as much a victim as I was." "I was wondering if we could meet," she said. "I think we have a lot to talk about," I agreed. We met at a small coffee shop near my garage. Willow was a beautiful woman with kind eyes and a gentle smile. She was clearly devastated by the affair, but she was also strong and resilient. We talked for hours, sharing our stories of betrayal and heartbreak. We discovered that we had a lot in common. We both loved reading, hiking, and spending time in nature. We both valued honesty, loyalty, and compassion. As we talked, I felt a connection forming between us, a bond forged in the fires of shared pain. I realized that I was starting to feel something for her, something more than just friendship. Over the next few months, Willow and I spent more and more time together. We went on hikes, saw movies, and cooked meals at my apartment. We talked about everything and nothing, sharing our hopes, our dreams, and our fears. I found myself falling in love with her. She was everything Genevieve wasn't: honest, genuine, and kind. She understood my pain and she helped me heal. One evening, as we were sitting on my couch, watching the rain fall outside, I turned to her and said, "Willow, I think I'm in love with you." She smiled, her eyes sparkling. "I think I'm in love with you too, Cormac." We kissed, a long, tender kiss that sealed our fate. I knew that I had found something special, something real. Genevieve's affair had been the most painful experience of my life, but it had also led me to Willow. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope for a new beginning. The divorce was finalized a few weeks later. Genevieve got a substantial settlement, but I didn't care. I had lost her, but I had gained something far more valuable: a second chance at love. Willow and I moved into a small house on the outskirts of Seattle. We filled it with love, laughter, and happiness. We were both scarred by our pasts, but we were determined to build a future together, a future based on honesty, trust, and mutual respect. I never forgave Genevieve for her betrayal, but I did learn to let go of the anger and resentment. I realized that holding onto those negative emotions would only hurt me in the long run. I focused on the present, on my relationship with Willow, and on building a new life, a life that was better than anything I had ever imagined. Years later, I received a letter from Genevieve. She was living in another state, working as a paralegal. She wrote that she was sorry for what she had done, that she regretted her affair, and that she wished me well. I read the letter with a sense of detachment. I no longer felt any anger or resentment towards her. I had moved on and I was happy. I wrote her back, wishing her well in return. I closed the chapter on our relationship, and I turned my attention back to Willow, the woman who had shown me that love can conquer all, even betrayal. Life is full of surprises, both good and bad. Sometimes, the worst things that happen to us can lead to the best things. Genevieve's affair was a tragedy, but it was also a catalyst for change. It forced me to reevaluate my life, to let go of the past, and to embrace the future. And in the end, I found happiness, not in spite of the betrayal, but because of it. I learned that love is a powerful force, capable of healing even the deepest wounds. And I learned that sometimes, the greatest blessings come in the most unexpected packages.